Over the years here on YouTube, I've made various character USB drives using the PEZ Candy toy. Some of these custom mods required a fair bit of work to make the USB drive fit into the toy. Now let's move on to what's possibly the ultimate version of this, and it's one of the simplest conversions yet, and I'll be using the inexpensive and tiny Clip-It USB drive. This drive is perfectly suited for these custom mods, and its low price is something I've not seen in tiny flash drives. I should explain why I like the PEZ toys, and these are my reasons. They're inexpensive and highly detailed for their size. They come in a huge variety of popular themes. They're easy to work with and easy to obtain, and there are many people around the world who collect these keenly for obvious reasons. There are franchise-related drives on the market. These tend to be quite expensive, considering many are only 4 GB in size. If you're after a fast and easy themed USB drive, well, here's your answer. But often your favourite character is not represented in this manner, and that's where those PEZ toys can fill the void. Let's whiz through and convert these PEZ into really cool themed USB drives. But first, here's that important title I need to show. Blah blah. Okay, let's pick off R2D2 first. Just going in and attacking him from the rear, I'll use a screwdriver to release the lolly dispenser. And with R2, I've got a couple of options. I could have the drive up inside him and present it like that, or I could have the drive sticking at the back and do the more conventional way that I've been doing these drive conversions like that. Let's see what I've got to remove for each one. Might be wise for me to point out there's a plastic clip on these drives that really serves no purpose apart from clipping the drive onto a piece of paper. If you need a really slim drive, you can get rid of that clip as well. Here we are looking up inside R2D2's bum, of all things, and the drive is just in there temporarily, held in by blue tack. If you are going to put the drive in this way, it can rest on some plastic. It can be glued in with epoxy or super glue, and make sure you leave enough of the drive hanging out to plug into a USB socket. If you're going for up the bum method and you plug him into your socket, that's how he'd look. But the problem is, he won't stand on his feet. So let's consider putting the drive in this rear bit here, and we're going to have to remove a little bit of plastic for it to go in. Of course, I'm going to hold him in a vise. I'm going to protect him with that tape that doesn't stick too well to anything. That blue stuff. First up, I'm going to remove that tail piece, which seemed to be on every PEZ. I'm going to use some side cutters. And I'll come with a file and I'll remove the plastic down until it's level with the line across there. This plastic is very soft and easy to file, and you'd be surprised how quickly it moves once the file's on it. So now that little bit of plastic's gone from the back, I'll have to come in and remove the piece of plastic from either side there to make a slot so the drive can fit in. I cut a little slot into each side here, so then the drive can come in and reside inside R2. I should also point out that the file that I'm using is about the same width as the drive that I'm fitting into the PEZ. And doing this work isn't really hard. It's a matter of using the right tools and taking your time and just assessing what's going on as you're moving along the process. Sort of like that measure twice and cut once principle. Well, let's take a look and see how it fits, remembering the writing is what I'm regarding as being the right way up. So we want our R2 to be presenting as if he's standing up. It's a great fit, and all you need to finish this off is a bit of super glue or epoxy, and it would be a finished job. Very simple, very fast to make. And if R2 is plugged into a USB socket, that's how he'd look. And I know you're all wondering, how does it look if it's plugged into your laptop? How cool is that? I'm not a Star Wars fanboy, but I tell you what, I'm getting excited. Now there's an idea for you, George. It's so simple to do these little PEZ conversions to USB drive beauties. How about old SpongeBob SquarePants? How did this sponge ever become so famous? And you know what? To do him, it's exactly the same as the way we did R2. Again, I'm going to come in and remove this little tongue of plastic, and the drive is going to reside inside here. Just like R2, off with that little lug. In for some careful filing. Just taking my time here, there's no rushing going on. And again, come in and I'll file those slots in so the drive can slide in. Let's see how the drive fits up SpongeBob's bum. It looks good. It's right way round. It'd be ready for gluing in. Believe me, the last thing I ever thought I'd plug into my computer is a SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, on the forward port there's SpongeBob, and taking up the rear, there's R2D2. Well, I did do another Thomas, and by using this method and this drive, it's a far simpler conversion. Well, let's quickly talk about gluing these drives in, and my advice here is just use a small amount of glue. I'm going to use super glue in this example. Be careful with super glue because it's fairly unforgiving to your skin, and you could also use 2-part epoxy to glue these drives in. I think I'll kick off by putting a small amount of glue on each of these areas here where the drive slides in. Maybe a little bit across there. Slide my drive in, making sure it's the right way around, making sure it's not too far in. When putting these drives into the Pez, I found I need at least this much drive sticking out, so I can just still read this little bit of signage here. Even though I don't really need to, I'll come in and I'll put another bead of super glue in across the top of this lug here and one on this side. So there's a fillet of glue either side. And once all that is dry, believe me, that will be never coming out of the body of this buzz. Well, the red drive there is the Pez Thomas that I did a couple of years ago, and I had to slice down the side of the drive, and there's a fair bit of work to make that work in there. And here's the clip-it drive, which was just a little bit of filing, a little bit of gluing, and the job is done. It's a far simpler way to put drives into your Pez. Well, there you go. It's possibly one of the best uses you can have for your Pez toys. It's an inexpensive and easy thing to do. Don't get busted flogging these online. Keep them for personal use. And thank you for watching the video.